Okay, so I had some questions. Somebody spotted this thing in the corner and asked me if it was a parts tumbler. So I figured I'd do a quickie little video on it. I do some projects where I cut a whole bunch of tabs out of basically 1/8 inch material on the plasma table. And they're about a 2 by 2 inch-ish piece with a hole in it and some, radiuses and stuff. And it's such a small part, it'd be hard to hold on to clean the dross off the bottom. And so I built this guy. The project I build those tabs for requires 600 of those tabs. And so that's a pretty time consuming thing to clean them up. So basically I built this tumbler. I found this bucket, and I don't know how big it is, 20 gallons or something. I don't really know. But I found this at a feed store, and I picked this one because it's got these cool, these quick release latches. So they just snap on, snap off, and they're pretty secure. So I built a little simple T-shaped deal out of some channel. Got a couple casters to support this end. And then to power it, this is a Harbor Freight electric pipe tapping machine. It's basically like the body of a 7 or 9 inch grinder, but then it's got this deep gear reduction head on the end. And I think it turns about 1 or 2 RPMs, so it's real slow, which seems to be about a pretty good speed. You don't want to go zinging the thing around, it won't do anything. So basically I put a zip tie in the trigger, and then I just plug it in and it goes. One thing I want to add to it is a timer, like a bathroom fan timer with just a little rotary twist deal. I think that would be pretty nice to have. Then I could set it for 30 minutes and walk away. I just built I took, it's hard to see, but this is just one of the pipe dies is just threaded onto a tube, and that basically bottomed it out. And then just in one of my boxes of junk, I had some plastic bushings. It's like a hard plastic bushing. So basically like the axle. I cut a plate, bolts to the bottom of the bucket, and welded this axle on. Goes through the bushing and then into the machine. And then to keep the machine stationary, this is actually part of the kit. But it just goes through this handle. And it's kind of loose and sloppy and whatever, but this was kind of a quickie project to get me through that job, but I've used it quite a bit. Some other jobs I do, I put these parts in, and I put in, I think 100 at a time, and they're about a 2 inch by 8 or 9 inch long piece. And it handles it. It's quite a bit of weight. So inside, usually I don't use any of this media, but on the last job I wanted to kind of soften the edges a little bit, and so that helps. I basically bolted in these 2 paddles, and those little tabs, it works really well. It just, as this rotates, it basically picks up the pile and turns it and drops it. Turn and drop, and picks and turns and drop over and over and over. And just the parts beating against each other does a really good job of knocking off all the dross and even the mill scale. If you let it run long enough, the parts coming out almost looking sandblasted. Works pretty good. And total investment, I mean, I think I got under $200 in the whole thing. The one downside, it is super loud. So you imagine you got 50 pounds of metal parts being picked up and dropped and picked up and dropped. It's pretty loud. But still, it beats cleaning all those little pieces by hand every time, because that's a real pain. And I guess I could show the alternative. What I used to do is piece by piece, I would use my little belt sander here, and I use one of these magnetic welding ground lug things. So you can turn this dial and it basically turns on or off the magnet. So I'd stick the part to this, and then that would give me something to hold on to, and then knock off the slag and dross, and flip it over on the magnet and do the other side. You know, that I really like that because it gives a nice grained finish. But you imagine standing there doing 600 of them, it gets pretty monotonous. So yeah, that's why I went ahead and built this. Like I said, it's super cheap, and I don't know what these cost nowadays. I think I paid around $100 for this at Harbor Freight again. Oh, and something else I did is I drilled a bunch of holes in the bucket. That way, it makes a mess on the floor, but that way all the little shards of dross and all the dust comes out. And then so when you're done, basically all you're left with inside is the clean parts. And then I just scoot this aside and sweep up the mess. Eventually I'm going to build a new one that's a little more, I don't know, professional grade or whatever. Because this, I can tell this is not going to last forever. That bushing is going to wear out and whatever. A style I like that I might copy is where you build basically a steel tube that's a hexagon, 6-sided, and so there's no paddles inside. Just the hexagon shape as it turns is enough to roll the parts. And I kind of feel like that would be quieter because you're not going to get the big lift and drop that this does. You're just going to get more of a roll and a tumble. And I've been collecting ball bearings. I have a friend that works in a shop that does a lot of transmission rebuilds on really big equipment, and he gets me these ball bearings. I think they're about 5/8 or 3/4 diameter. So the new tumbler will be filled with those too. And I've seen where, you know, you got that nice hard ball bearing. It's got the oomph to break the slag off, but it's not going to leave sharp edges. It's, you know, going to kind of blunt off the edges. So that's my plan for the next one. I've got a better motor over here in my junk pile. I picked this up. Hopefully this is what I'll use. I'm not sure. I really haven't even messed with this. I got to give it to me, so I got to look at the RPMs and the gear reduction and see what this is like. I may have to do a further reduction with a chain and sprocket or something. But yeah, like I said, I want to build something that's a little more robust and last long term. But you know, doing small batches, or you know, something that's something you don't use every day, this has been pretty awesome. So I just figured I'd share, you know, if anybody else is in a situation where they need to do that, this is a pretty cheap and effective way of cleaning parts. So that's it for now. You know, reach out if you got any questions, comments. And I hate to kind of ask this, but if you could subscribe and like and all that stuff. I'm trying to grow this channel and, you know, share more and of this kind of stuff. All right, well, thanks for watching.